Good evening and welcome to the late news from Calendar. Tonight's top stories. More than 250 people die in New York's latest disaster. And there's outrage as a teacher convicted of assaulting autistic children walks free. The people of New York are tonight reeling from another disaster, just 2 months after terrorists flew 2 passenger aircraft into the World Trade Center. Today, an American Airlines jet crashed into a residential area of the city within 4 minutes of taking off from John F. Kennedy Airport. At least 255 people are thought to have lost their lives. Early indications are that it was a tragic accident rather than the work of terrorists. The parents of severely disabled children who were assaulted by their teacher say they're devastated after he walked free from court. David Raper was convicted of abusing 4 teenagers, all of them autistic. He was given a 3-month suspended prison sentence. Here's Lindsay Eastwood.
Walking free from court today, 44-year-old David Raper, found guilty of assaulting 4 children who all had severe autism and learning difficulties. The children and their parents can't be identified for legal reasons. This woman's teenage daughter was forced to the floor with her legs held in the air.
What were he thinking of to do that to my daughter? She can't speak for herself. I feel it needs to be punished. He's done that. It picked on these children that can't talk and it just needs to be punished.
But Raper has always strenuously denied the offences, which included hitting one boy on the ears.
Well, naturally, we're disappointed and shocked by the outcome in this case, but I can say the notice of appeal has been lodged with the appropriate authorities, and in those circumstances I think it would be inappropriate for me to comment any further.
Raper was suspended from teaching at Braithwaite Special School in Keighley over a year ago after teaching assistants noticed he was causing the children distress. Sentencing Raper to a 3-month suspended prison sentence, District Judge David Thomas told him, "Teaching special needs requires skill, patience and sensitivity. I found your approach to restraint and stimulation was at the least cavalier. You let down the children and you betrayed the parents who place these vulnerable youngsters in your care." A disciplinary hearing will be held at the school later this week to decide if David Raper still has a job there.
A mother's made an emotional appeal for information about the men who shot her son as he tried to protect the public from an armed gang. The shooting took place on the Ravenscliffe estate in Bradford. 21-year-old Carl Garrard stepped in when the gunman threatened women and children at a bonfire party. He's now seriously injured in Bradford Royal Infirmary.
He's now laid in the hospital bed. I've just left him. He's crying, probably with happiness that he's alive, because he did die and they did revive him. And his leg is a mess. Don't know if he's going to walk again.
Dozens of people with asbestos-related diseases in our region could die before they ever see any compensation because all claims against the companies involved have been frozen. Asbestos manufacturer T&N, the parent company of the J.W. Roberts factory in Armley, has gone bust and has received an administration order from the High Court. The order means that T&N can freeze all claims whilst trading as normal. Barry Atkinson grew up in Armley and lost a brother to mesothelioma. His brother's widow and children have been left without a penny.
I feel bitter, not particularly for the people who have got it, but their dependents and loved ones. I think they need protection. And I do honestly feel the government ought to do something.
The jury's heard how a mother killed her baby by violently shaking him and squeezing him so tightly she fractured his ribs. Lisa Wardle, who's 21, and Paul Hill, who's 22, are from Grafton Street in Grimsby. They're jointly on trial at Lincoln Crown Court for the murder and manslaughter of their 8-week-old baby Sean. They're also charged with 1 count of cruelty. A teacher convicted following the death of Leeds schoolgirl Gemma Carter on a school trip to France is to have his appeal heard in January. Gemma, a pupil at Coburn High School, drowned while on a trip to Le Touquet 2 years ago. Teacher Mark Duckworth was found guilty of involuntary homicide and given a suspended prison sentence. Sport now, and Leeds United and England's central defender Rio Ferdinand's been named the Premiership Player of the Month for October. David O'Leary's side remain unbeaten in the league this season, and the United captain has been singled out as a key figure in the club's rise to the top of the Premiership. Well, Rugby League and Hull FC have been dealt a blow with news that Shane Richardson, their chief executive, has resigned. The Australian's returning home to become chief exec of Penrith Panthers. He says it's for family reasons. He and coach Sean McRae last season guided Hull into the Super League playoffs. Well, finally tonight, you're probably aware by now that the doors to Hogwarts School creaked open this weekend, and crowds flocked to the cinema to discover why the world's gone wild about wizards. The nation's firmly in the grip of Harry Potter fever, but here in the Callander region, we can boast our very own Harry Potter. Yes, he's 7, he's from Lincoln, and Natalie Jackson's been to meet him.
Dear Mr. Potter, you have been accepted to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
The Hogwarts Express finally rumbled into cinemas across the country this weekend, bringing the magical movie Harry Potter to life. These children, though, don't know what all the fuss is about. They've been rubbing shoulders with Harry Potter for years. That's Lincoln's Harry Potter, who at 7 years old is a huge fan of his wizardry namesake.
The first film I used to like was Chitty Bang Bang, but now it's Harry Potter because it's better than everything.
It's just like Harry. He's a lovable character, he's fun to be with and always getting up to tricks.
And while everyone's completely spellbound by the Hollywood version, Harry's classmates think, well, he's just magic.
He always plays with me. He's really fun and I like him and he's nice. He's a very good friend. He could turn us all into frogs.
Turn people into frogs? If only our very own Harry really did have magical powers.
I hope you're all still paying attention.
Now that would be a good trick, wouldn't it? That's all from me for the moment. We're back with our next bulletin during GMTV tomorrow morning, starting at around 25 to 7. For now though, from the late team on Callander, have a very good night. Good night.